Oh
Yeah,
man, where are you coming from?
I'm in Detroit, Michigan.
Okay, cool, very cool. I'm in New York. So we got a crazy day today going on. I'm doing a pitch-a-thon on Pitch Investors Live.
Yeah,
Seems like you know about it, so that's very cool. So I don't want to waste too much time because we're moving here very very quickly.
yeah, absolutely.
So I want to get right into what you got going on here.
Yeah, so my name is Michael Greene, and I'm the founder and artist with Persia Grai LLC. That's a music company based in Detroit, Michigan. And we're looking to raise 350K for negotiable equity or profit share, which will be used for traditional online influencer marketing, advertising, promotion, radio, merchandise purchasing, and special events. And it's me, and I'm working with an industry veteran. Her name is Wendy Day. Contributed to the success of huge artists and labels like Eminem, Cash Money, Master P, No Limit, Joyner Lucas. She actually works with Jack Canfield's son too. Um, but it's thanks to her that we'll be able to have access to the same resources as like major labels use. And we're just trying to replicate success that she's had with previous clients she's worked with. So, if you have any questions, yeah, I'd be happy to fire them off at you.
What you guys are doing is you're raising money. I'm just reading the blurb here. You're raising money to create a music label. Is that what it is?
Well, I have the label's already formed. We're just trying
Right.
to fund it, and
Okay.
I'm the artist on the label.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha. So I don't know too much about this industry, but really, what I believe I know is all it takes is like one big hit to make it all pay, right?
That's part of it, and honestly, at the same time, that is part of it, because you do need one song that'll change everything. But it's also a financial thing. It's like they make it seem it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. They kind of make it seem like it's just like oh, it just happens randomly, but there's always funding at play. At a certain point, you do have to be good enough, but then once you're good enough, it's like any other business. There's still money that has to be put into it to get
Right.
the money
You
back
got to do
out.
marketing. You got to do promotion. You got to do tours. You got to do all that stuff, right?
Exactly. So what we would be doing, like I know with what Wendy does and what she did like with Cash Money. Cash Money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a rap fan.
Oh yeah, okay, awesome. Yeah, so she found them and they were like doing well, but they were just in one area. So what she does is she expands your area. So she took them from like selling 25,000 CDs at the it's back in the day. So it's like 25,000 CDs to 100,000 CDs and like taking over that whole region to be able to leverage a deal that was like $30 million.
Right.
So um but yeah, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be targeting a region. um, I'm debating whether or not it's going to be like it's a 350 mile radius around a specific area, and you're trying to like make like the name huge in that area, because that's enough to be able to start making like getting into the M's, you know, and then you expand from there. So basically, what the money that we're looking for right now is just for the purpose of expanding in that region, and then from that point on, once your money's back to you, we're going to be taking the money that's coming in and putting it back in to grow from that point.
Well, that's
So it's
smart. I mean,
like,
we look at certain businesses like that, right? You start,
yeah,
you build locally, and then you create such a powerful presence locally, then you expand. Um,
exactly.
so like again, I know nothing about the music industry. So, from my, obviously there's probably millions of music artists out there. Maybe I don't know how many, right, in the
Right.
U.S.
Yeah.
And everyone's trying to get that big hit in the radio and all that. But I'm sure that's not the only way to make money, right? Is it, you don't have to be number one on the billboards to make, to
No,
be
no,
successful,
absolutely
right?
not. Like I know that Wendy works with a bunch of clients. All the clients that she's, I think every client that she's worked with has, she gets them to like the point of like $1 million in a year. But that's not, you're not even on the billboards. The majority of the money comes from doing shows at first.
Right.
Ideally, ideally you want to get to the point where you're doing like a third and a third and a third. So like a third merchandise, a third shows, a third streaming. right? But the majority of the money won't come from streaming in the first place. I know that one of the artists that she just worked with was making, he was getting like 5 million streams a week. So that's $20,000 a week from streaming, but he was making $20,000 a performance.
Oh wow.
And he could have performed um, he could have performed like 4 or 5 times a week, but he only ended up doing like 3, so and he wasn't on the billboards. It's not so that what we see on the outside, like when you're looking at it, you're just thinking like the streaming, the plays, like that kind of stuff is just like, that's not where the majority of people make their money. It's the majority of the money is going to come from shows and merchandise, and eventually streaming the larger you get.
Right. So let me ask you something, like, and I, are you, what type of music do you do? Do you create?
It's hip hop, rap, pop, and R&B.
Okay.
And some Spanish music.
So does all of this I know Wendy has a great resume and all that, but does all of this rely on your talents as an artist?
I'm sorry. Could you elaborate? Like,
I mean, just like the success, like let's say, like just the success of the business that you're trying, to fund right now. Does that rely solely on your talents as an artist?
Not necessarily. It's not the success of it. It's going to be a part of it, but like it's going to be like half and half, because this is a connection-based industry.
Right.
Fortunately, this woman has been in the game for almost 30 years,
right.
So she knows everyone, and it's gonna be relationship based, but it is like, as far as the music aspect, but that's a good thing because
you're awesome.
No, not for that, but because it's that's what separates me from other people that do it, is that I do every aspect of it. So I don't know, like, I know you said you don't know a lot about the industry, but I'm sure you've heard, like, if you watch a movie or anything like that, they'll say artists are the last to get paid. They're like, all this stuff about artists.
It's like screwed. What? It's like 50 Cent on his first album. He sold like 30 million copies, but made like $3 million, where where it was like $1 billion generated, something like that, right?
Right. Yeah. And that's because you can, like, when someone signs a deal and they're like, especially back then, but when someone signs a deal, it's kind of like sharecropping, honestly, unless you have leverage. When someone signs a deal, so say like you give me some money and you tell me that I got to pay you back, but the money isn't being split that's coming in. It's like, I got to pay you back whatever you give me from my percentage of what the deal that we worked out.
Right.
So that's why most artists never recoup, is because if you give me $2 million, I would have to make $10 million completely just to pay you back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's messed up. But that's also why we stay independent for the most part until you can leverage a deal that makes sense, because it's not going to make sense. Like, you can make $1 million. I know that, like, Wendy's working with someone that they touched $1 million in revenue by the 6th month, right? And an artist can be 10 times as big as that person, signed to a label and making the same amount of money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's better to do it independent until you can reach a certain point.
But the only thing is that person is probably being heard by more. He may not be making as much money from the actual song, but he's out there more, and then there's other opportunities coming to him. So I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of like you got to choose which way you want to go. Do you want to stay independent, or do you want the big boys behind you to get bigger, faster, and then hopefully from there,
honestly, that's what I've talked to her about that, and down the line that would be viable. That would be something that I would want to do. But I feel like it's like, I can't think of a good analogy, but it's like the timing is so important, because if you sign too early, you can mess your whole career up.
I got you.
Because they own your likeness. So if you sign too early and you don't do the foundational work that we're trying to do, they control everything. And then if they lose a taste for you, they think you're getting cold or whatever, they own your likeness, so you can't do anything.
It's kind of like we have a liquor brand that we're involved with, and and you don't want, you think that signing with the biggest liquor distributors is great,
Right.
but but what they do is they sign a lot of the small guys, and then they kind of shelve them because
Yeah,
they're too
exactly.
small. They don't want to deal with them, and then it screws you up because you're not getting the time and attention you need, but you're stuck and you can't do
You can't.
anything else. Right?
That's literally
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's where they.
So
That's a strategy.
so what's your deal? You put out a lot of songs. Are you touring yourself? Like, tell me about yourself.
Yeah. So like as an artist,
Yeah.
yeah. So I record, I produce, I do everything myself. Um, so that keeps like the revenue, like, because most artists that you have to pay the producer 50% of whatever you do. So that's why like whatever an artist makes or whatever, I would be doubling that basically.
Right. Right.
But
Right. Right.
yeah, so I'm like making money from the streaming. I do shows. The biggest show that I've done so far was our Summer Jams in Detroit, which is like a big, the big radio concerts. I think you're in New
Sure.
York, right? They have one there, and the one that I did was here in Detroit with Big Sean and Diggy Simmons and some other guys like that.
I love Big
Um,
Sean.
yeah, he's cool. He's from
Yeah.
here too. So so that's the biggest show I've done. But yeah, I do shows and I sell merch. This is like my T-shirt. This is my logo right here.
Oh, that's cool. It's
I'm
a wolf.
actually I'm yeah, yeah. I'm shooting a video right now. I stepped out to take the call, so uh, that's that's why I'm wearing it.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Very cool. Awesome. So really, like I s- like, and by the way, because we're moving quick here, so we got to run in 2 minutes. But
absolutely.
so really, you're raising. So you have a record label already, but
Yeah,
what you need is some capital to be able to, to fund it, do marketing, do events, promotions, get other people talking about it, other buzz, like, and then utilizing what, because like I understand, because I was talking to one of my friends is out in LA, and one of my college buddies, he's repping a couple of electronic DJs, and he
yeah.
was talking to me about all this stuff, and it's about who and trying to get into these certain areas. Like, so Wendy's going to come in key in that situation, then, right? I
She's
mean,
gonna be
yeah,
yeah. She's really the secret sauce in the situation. Like she at any level she helps you get to the point where like either you're making a significant amount of money or you could sign to the labels, and she's close with all the label heads and she knows all these people already. So yeah, exactly.
now
It's
how's your following, like on Instagram, and because I know that's important.
yeah, I think altogether over 60,000.
Oh, dude, that's awesome, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
but this is where the problem comes in. It's like this is where I realized, and that's how I even found her in the first place and started talking to her, is that I've done all this kinds of stuff on my own, but I can only do one thing at a time.
You want to get
And
to, yeah, you need, yeah.
and the reason that it doesn't work is that you have to be doing all the things at once, which is why you
Hmm.
need money.
Oh, lost
About
you.
that, I got disconnected for a
Oh,
second.
no, no
Um,
problem.
Yeah, so you have to be doing all the things at once. So you have to be on the radio while you're doing a promo tour, passing stuff out, while you're running ads on Instagram and Facebook, while you're running ads on
It's a
YouTube.
business, man. It's a real
It's a
business.
real
Yeah,
business, man.
yeah,
People don't look at it like that, but it is. And
right.
so that's where the funding need comes from.
No, I gotcha. I gotcha. I mean, even just to, I mean, you say you're shooting video, even just to shoot video, not sure what it's costing you. I mean, that could cost, could be costing you 20 to 50 grand right now just
Yeah,
to shoot some video,
it's
right?
a
I mean,
lot. It's a
yeah,
lot. There's
yeah.
a lot that goes into it, man.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So, hey, listen. Thanks for coming on Pitch Investors Live.
No
I
problem.
definitely want to learn more. I definitely want to connect. Because I'm a big fan of music.
Yeah,
Not like a huge fan, but I've always been very interested in kind of this space. My little brother's into, like, he records a bunch of songs too.
yeah,
Never really knows how to get anywhere with it.
yeah.
So I would love to connect. Who hooked you up on Pitch Investors Live here?
It was Ashley. Ashley Cheeks referred me to you guys, and then I think that for this
Okay.
specific, it was Diani.
Okay, so can you just have Deani hook us up on like an email or text or whatever, and then and we'll touch base?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
so much. Really appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, likewise. Have a good one. Good luck with the video.
Thank you, brother.
Bye
Yep.
bye.